Hello, what's going on everybody? Today I'm going to give you guys my first impressions for the 2019 anime Demon Slayer, which was brought to life by Studio Ufotable and is based off a manga by Koyoharu Gotoji. I started watching Demon Slayer once it started airing on Toonami, and I've seen all 14 episodes that have aired in English so far. I've even rewatched every episode in preparation for this video. Demon Slayer is another one of those series that has been hyped up a lot in the anime community, not just here on YouTube, but on other websites that cover the latest anime. At the end of last year, I saw many sites and individuals giving this show high praise. Demon Slayer was praised for having the best animation of last year and considered to be the best anime of 2019 to some people. I'll be blunt, I don't think Demon Slayer lives up to all the hype it's gotten. Granted, I haven't finished the first season yet, so there is a possibility that the next 12 episodes are way better than its first half. Demon Slayer, much like other series from the last decade like Hunter x Hunter and Attack on Titan, is an overrated show. At least, that is my assessment based off of the 14 episodes that I've seen so far. However, unlike those shows, Demon Slayer is not a bad show. Based off of what I've seen so far, it isn't this fantastic masterpiece that I've seen some people claim it is, but it is a solid series. I keep seeing people online talk about episode 19 like it was the most amazing episode from any show in the genre. I really hope it lives up to the hype, but if it's on the same level of what I've already seen thus far from the show, I will call it and the fanbase out in a future video. I have to. The anime community has a really bad habit of overhyping and overrating shows. It may seem like I'm rambling a bit, but there is an actual reason why I decided to open this video talking about the hype surrounding the series. You see, I don't buy into a lot of the crap that has been said about Demon Slayer, especially by the bigger, more popular anime channels here on YouTube. I'm sure you've seen channels out there with videos proclaiming that Demon Slayer is a work of art, Demon Slayer is refining the shonen genre, Demon Slayer is a masterpiece. I don't agree with any of these sentiments. I'll be honest with you all. In regards to Demon Slayer's art and animation, I haven't been impressed so far. It amazes me that some people thought that this show's animation or art style looked better than most of the series from last year. Demon Slayer's animation is nowhere near the level of what is in Mob Psycho 100, My Hero Academia, or Fire Force. Since I'm strictly speaking about animation, I even argued that Attack on Titan's animation looks way better than what we got in Demon Slayer. I also personally hate Demon Slayer's art style. There's nothing beautiful about it to me. Yeah, that might seem a bit hypocritical coming from a guy who likes Mob Psycho 100, a show that looks like it was made in MS Paint, but at the very least, for that show's case, it embodied the creator's ugly manga drawings, and it fits well with the tone of the show. In regards to this notion that Demon Slayer is somehow an improvement on what we've had before, I'd argue that it isn't doing anything new, but that's okay because it does a lot of things well. I don't really like how people compare Demon Slayer to shows like Black Clover, My Hero Academia, Naruto, or One Piece, because even though these series are all in the shonen genre, Demon Slayer isn't really comparable to them. These shows are telling vastly different kinds of stories with a much different tone. The shows I just mentioned follow what I like to call the I Have a Dream format. I want to be the Pirate King, the Wizard King, the Ninja President, greatest hero ever, you get the point. I've seen this format criticized by some people online lately, but let's not act like there haven't been shows like Demon Slayer before. Demon Slayer follows what I like to call the personal journey format. The main character is embarking on a journey not to achieve some grand dream, but for a very personal reason, whether that be for themselves or someone else. The first show that comes to mind that follows this format is Fullmetal Alchemist. Edward and Alphonse set out to find a Philosopher's Stone in order to fix their bodies after attempting to bring their dead mother back to life. It's a personal journey. I would even put that trash Hunter x Hunter in this category as well to a degree because from what I've seen of the show, it does a lot with Gon learning more about his father who was also a hunter. Radiant is another series that could possibly fit this category, so by now you should get the point. Demon Slayer is about Tanjiro becoming a demon slayer, slaying demons, while trying to turn his sister Nezuko back into a human. Anyone daring to call shows that follow the I Have a Dream format like Black Clover or My Hero Academia generic or cliche are hypocrites. This show has one of the most cliche setups in the genre. It was so cliche that my brother, who started watching the series before me and has watched the entire thing to completion, came to me and pointed it out. In fact, we laughed at it for a short bit. A character's family being killed as a motivator has been done so many times before. In Tanjiro's case, only his sister, Nezuko, survived, but she was turned into a demon. Demon Slayer also uses the same common trope where the main character has a special trait that other characters notice and are at times in awe of. Character-wise, Demon Slayer isn't breaking any new ground either. That said, I can appreciate that Koyoharu didn't give Tanjiro a default shonen protagonist personality. Something I noticed upon rewatching the first few episodes is that Tanjiro shares a lot of similarities with Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia in terms of personality, yet some of the same people that like Tanjiro hate Izuku. Why do they hate Izuku? Well, one of the most common complaints I've heard is that he cries too much. Really? Well, hate to point this out, but these characters share some similar personality traits. They're kind, polite, and empathetic. Yes, Izuku cries, but he has a good reason. The same thing can be said for Tanjiro. Something I like about both of these characters is the fact that they aren't like the typical shonen character. They aren't loud, they aren't rude, and they're not ignorant, like Asta from Black Clover or how Naruto was in the original series. Tanjiro and Izuku's character type goes against the grain in a way, and I like that. However, for some reason, I'm having a hard time getting attached to Tanjiro's character, unlike with Izuku, which I loved from the beginning. Besides Tanjiro, the characters that have been introduced so far have personality types or quirks we've seen before in other shows. Demon Slayer's power system isn't anything revolutionary for what I've seen so far either. It seems like a cross between JoJo Bizarre Adventure's hormone breeding, Avatar The Last Airbender's element bending, and maybe some of the Naruto's chakra system for good measure. At the point I'm at now in the show, the breeding system and the different forms haven't been explained in depth. Currently, everything about water breathing and the different forms has been mentioned very briefly. The deepest explanation we've got about the water breathing style was from Makomo, but even then it was quick and I thought it didn't break things down well enough. Aside from element breathing, the show also introduces unique blood arts for demons and special Nichiren swords that change colors based on the user. The core ideas regarding both of these things have been done before, but here it's just been repackaged or remixed for lack of a better word. Now to be clear, I'm not knocking Demon Slayer for having common elements found in other series in the genre and not doing anything innovative with it. I'm simply just pointing out that it isn't doing anything new or better than its contemporaries. Like I said before, Demon Slayer is far from what I consider a masterpiece. Despite the show having excellent lore building and mostly great character designs, I personally found its world to be uninteresting and a majority of its characters forgettable and in a few cases underdeveloped and insufferable. Now, before you type a whole rant in the comment section, let me elaborate. Every couple of episodes, the show introduces a new piece of lore about its world. The rate at which we are given new information about Tanjiro's world and how the show slowly builds on top of it is indeed commendable. However, to me personally, the world in which all this lore is contained in isn't interesting enough. The lore itself is okay, but stuff like the Demon Slayer Corps, an independent, unrecognized entity that kills demons, I couldn't care less about. I get how that could sound cool on paper, but the organization itself isn't something I'm dying to learn more about. It could be the method in which Koyoharu introduces new concepts or elements into the series that just doesn't work well for me. In regards to Demon Slayer's characters, from a design standpoint, many of its characters have unique and memorable designs. Tanjiro is easily recognizable by the shade of his hair, his white diamond-shaped pupils, his earrings, and the green and black checkered robe. I really like Nezuko's design too, specifically her hair, which I mistook for dreads, and the color scheme selected for her in general. The designs for some of the major demons, Sasamaru, Yahaba, and Kyogai, are good too, but as actual characters, they're largely forgettable. Aside from Tanjiro, Nezuko, Lady Tomio, Urokodaki, Makomo, and Sabito, there aren't too many characters I thought were memorable or generally well written. Tanjiro is without a doubt the best character, and to give the show some credit, he's characterized quite well through his actions. His empathetic and kind nature is constantly on display. For example, there are multiple times after he defeats a demon, he still shows compassion or respect to them despite the fact that they've killed many people. He holds the hand of the hand demon and prays for it despite the fact that it killed Makomo and Sabito. Tanjiro takes the Tamari to Sasamaru when she asks for it as she is fading away. Tanjiro could easily be described as altruistic to a degree because he cares deeply for others and will protect them regardless of his own well-being. However, like I said, I'm having a hard time getting attached to this character. This might seem crazy, but I like Nezuko better than every character in this series so far that has been presented throughout the 14 episodes that I've seen. Despite the character only saying maybe like 2 sentences throughout the entire season possibly, Koyoharu and Ufotable were able to give her a likable personality. I don't think this series does comic relief or lighthearted moments very well. I get that they have to add these particular kind of scenes due to the dark and violent nature of the show, but these scenes never really work, especially earlier on in the season. Episodes 8 and 10 include the very few moments where Demon Slayer's humor actually worked for me, and these moments all involve Nezuko. These little moments with Nezuko add a little bit more personality to the show, and to me they feel more natural. You could argue that much of it is manipulating the cuteness of Nezuko's character, but it's way more effective in my opinion when she is involved. Nezuko is also involved in one of the best moments of the show in episode 9 when she hugs Lady Tomio. In my opinion, episode 9 is the best episode that we've gotten so far, and the scene was so good because Nezuko recognizes the humanity still in Lady Tomio and Yushiro, which causes her to cry and the boy to respect Nezuko. Before I talk about the 2 worst characters introduced this season, I want to briefly talk about the main antagonist, Muzan Kibusuchi. I wouldn't feel comfortable saying that Muzan is a good villain yet because I feel like I haven't seen enough of him to make that judgment. However, at the very least I can say that he leaves a much bigger impression than any demon Tanjiro has faced so far, thanks to his awesome character design and tension-filled encounter with Tanjiro in episodes 7 and 8. I don't think I need to explain why his Michael Jackson looking design fits the character so perfectly, especially given what we know already about demons being weak to sunlight. Yeah, he's not the first anime villain that people have drawn Michael Jackson comparisons to, but his design seems even closer to him, even more than Orochimaru from Naruto. We may have not gotten to know much about Muzan or why he's turning people into demons, but at least he's built up as a proper villain. The reveal that he has a human wife and child sets up a mystery that keeps the character intriguing despite not knowing exactly what his motives are. Koyoharu makes the character have this omnipresent feeling when it comes to demons in general. The demons fear him, especially those that have come in contact with him. Lady Tomio says in episode 9 that Muzan doesn't want the demons to group up together. I can't remember if she actually gives this particular reason, but I assume he is afraid that they will band against him. So there is something to his character other than being the big bad guy that Tanjiro needs to kill. I just wish that the other demons Tanjiro faced had a bit more to them. The hand demon was given a backstory that tied in with Urokodaki and his students, so Tanjiro defeating it actually meant something and had an impact. The same really can't be said for Sasamaru, Yahaba, and Kyogai. Kyogai was given a small backstory, but in the end, there really wasn't much to his character other than him wanting to get stronger after losing his place among the 12 demon moons. Tanjiro's fights against these demons play out like boss battles in a video game. Some of these fights are dynamic, with the camera moving and changing perspective, especially in the fight against Kyogai. I get why anyone would be entertained by these fights on some level as they are animated well for the most part, although some of the CG looks out of place and ugly to me, most notably when Tanjiro is dodging Sasamaru's Tamaris, or the effects used when Tanjiro does his water breathing technique against Kyogai. I find it funny how some people will criticize shows that blend CG with 2D animation, but didn't have an issue with how it's used in Demon Slayer. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that these fights, while entertaining, are lacking in emotional and narrative substance. It doesn't help that these demons feel more like roadblocks rather than actual fleshed out characters. This resulted in a hollow feeling after most of these fights were done for me. I won't remember most of them like I would fights in other shonen series. At the very least, I can appreciate that these characters didn't have a grating personality, unlike the last two characters I'm about to talk about. Demon Slayer is a well-paced show that starts out decently, but really picks up at the end of episode 7 when Tanjiro finds Muzan in a big city. From there it gets better and I was loving the flow of the series for the most part. But then episode 11 happened. That is when things started to fall apart with the introduction of Zenitsu and later Inosuke in episode 14. These characters are easily the worst characters in the series so far. All Zenitsu does is cry and scream the whole time. He reminds me of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, the way he acts scared of every little thing. Episode 14 is easily the worst episode in the season so far, and I hope these characters aren't going to stick around Tanjiro for long because Zenitsu and Inosuke are so annoying. I have to call out anyone who was complaining about Asta in the beginning of Black Clover after watching episode 14. If you didn't like Asta, but you liked Zenitsu and Inosuke, you're a hypocrite. These characters were just as loud and obnoxious as many people claim Asta was in the beginning of Black Clover. The dynamic between these three characters just doesn't work at all. It's not funny, it's not charming. Also, that split personality thing that Zenitsu has when he sleep, yeah, I hope that wasn't meant to impress me or be this guy's redeeming quality because I've seen it done better with more likable characters. Melly from Radiant is a great example, but most people will throw out Launch from Dragon Ball. Of course, Launch isn't the deepest character, but she is likable and far more tolerable than Zenitsu. It's a bad sign when the show tried to get me to care about Zenitsu when Inosuke is beating him up, and in the back of my mind, I'm hoping Inosuke kills him in front of Tanjiro. I know I haven't talked about Inosuke, but there really isn't anything to say about him. He got on my nerves the moment he was introduced inside the demon's house. I'm guessing he's supposed to be Tanjiro's direct foil. His Vegeta, his Bakugo, Kuwabara, Sasuke, you get the point. There really isn't anything redeemable about these characters so far, and I'd argue their inclusion is highly unnecessary. I'm really hoping these two characters don't end up bringing down the show during its final 12 episodes of the season. I would have been perfectly fine with the show just being Tanjiro and Nezuko traveling and killing demons. As of right now, I don't hate Demon Slayer, but I don't love it either. It really is a mixed bag. I'll wait until the season has finished in English before rendering a final verdict, but based off of what I've seen now, I wouldn't argue with anyone claiming that it is an overrated show. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about Demon Slayer so far. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here.